Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Organically David here, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today on my journey as I strive to live organically and authentically in every way. And it's my goal, my duty to help you do the same. As you know, this is the place for all things organic and all things authentic. And I want to today focus on that, on authenticity, but move into the space of mental health, mindset, and that's what I want to talk about today. But I want to give a disclaimer. I am driving. As you can see, I'm driving. I always have to maximize my time. But uh, just want to apologize if I'm looking off into the distance, as well as any type of road noise or anything like that. But I wanted to talk about this mindset and our mental health, and how we navigate this world when we have so many challenging situations in life. And many of you may have heard of the placebo effect, is the concept of positive thinking leads to positive outcomes. And that really shows that about the human mind and how powerful of a tool the human mind is. I mean, it's really capable of shaping our perception of reality, and that's it right there. It shapes our perception of reality, and then it influences our experiences, our actions, our thoughts, because it's based off our perception, which is our mindset, is our mind. So talk about the placebo effect. It really demonstrates the positive impact of positive thinking. You take the placebo, you take the pill, the water pill, but you assume that it's going to work. You think that it's going to work. You believe that it's going to work. So you then get better. And studies have shown that it's effective in a lot of cases. But I also want to talk about what I'd like to call, what I've heard it called, is the nocebo effect. I didn't coin that term. I've heard it before. But really, it's the power of maybe the concept, philosophy of manifestation. It really suggests that our thoughts and our beliefs can influence the outcomes we attract into our lives. And the nocebo effect is the opposite of the placebo effect. And that's about how negative thinking can lead to uh, negative events and negative outcomes in our lives. When a lot of times, even when it may have been a positive thing. And so we gotta talk about some of the tips and strategies to avoid falling into the trap of negative thinking. And one of the stories, a story that really resonated with me, something that I think about, um, just and it was a story about this gentleman who was misdiagnosed. And I want to share with you, if you haven't heard it before. Um, it was a guy who uh, was very optimistic, and just in life. His personality was very much focused on positivity and optimism. And all of his family and friends knew him as this positive, kind-hearted person. And he really believed in the power of positive thinking, just based off of what his family spoke of him. And one day he experienced pain in his side or his chest or something like that, and so he goes to the doctor. Doesn't go away. It's like it's been there for like a few days. Came and went, but it's still there. So he ends up going to the doctor, and the doctor orders a whole bunch of tests and scans and all that kind of stuff, which already gives you some anxiety there. Even you can be perfectly healthy and still get nervous when the scans anxiety. But unfortunately, to his dismay, he got the diagnosis that no one wants to hear. He was actually diagnosed with advanced stage liver cancer. And so the news obviously was significant, impacted him. It was devastating. I can only imagine how devastating. I mean, my wife went through her cancer journey, and she had a solid prognosis, but it was significant. So to hear you have an advanced stage cancer in a major organ, you go there in your mind, all of the chemotherapy I'm going to have to go through, radiation, and all the negative things that are going to have to happen. And how am I going to feel? Am I going to be sick and walking around here looking like a zombie and all of that? And so I guess he tried to, he's getting ready for treatment and all of that. But over the course of, I don't know, I want to say it was a few months, they say that his health rapidly declined. And even though his family was around him and all of that, his health just rapidly declined. And he ultimately passed away. And it's very, very unfortunate, uh, especially being that when they did an autopsy, because the doctors are confused, like, what we gave him much more time than this. How did it go? And they ordered an autopsy, and the family approved it. And to their shock, found out that he did not have cancer at all. Never had cancer. No signs ever of having cancer. He actually had it was like fatty tissue or something like that on his liver. Something enough that it was irritating. Uh, and it was something, I don't know, it was fatty tumor or something like that, but it was non-cancerous and nothing that should have killed him. And so what took him out? Like what caused him to pass away? What led to his untimely demise? It really was his thinking. He didn't succumb to an illness or in the physical form. He was taken out by his mental health, and for obvious reasons, it was very devastating news. But it was something where he could not handle something difficult, and I would definitely tell you that you don't know what you would do until you're involved in the situation. A lot of times, people have told my wife, "I don't know how you did it. I could have never done that. I could have never." But you'd be very surprised what you would do if when you're involved in that situation. Misdiagnosis occurs in life. They occur in life, and it's unfortunate that they happen. But no one's perfect. Nothing's perfect. No scan is perfect. But just a side note, it's important for you to, if you're facing a major medical event like that, to get a second, third opinion. Uh, anyway, but the main point here is that his mindset is what influenced. Was his mindset was influenced by the misdiagnosis. It was influenced by faulty information, and that played a significant role in his decline. It's a terrible story, but it's a cautionary tale. It's a strong reminder that we have to control our minds. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. Our physical and emotional well-being is tied together, hand in hand. His unwavering belief in his cancer diagnosis, despite it being incorrect, it was totally wrong, never had cancer, but it had a profound impact and effect on his body, and which led to his untimely demise. And that is where we need to refocus and make sure always we're staying in the moment. And that's something that story has always impacted me, because whenever I heard it or think about it, it's because I know in my life I've had challenging situations, and the only way that I've been able to get through them is by controlling my mind, how I thought about things. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, because we still want to face reality. What's real? If this is what it is, this is what it is. But let's deal with that. The positivity is to focus on the positive things that we can work on. Because I believe that in the story that with the liver cancer thing, even though it was advanced stage, I do believe that his prognosis was decent. And it wasn't like, oh, they were saying he was going to die, but it was just, it was a still as an advanced cancer, and that was enough to mess your mind up. I mean, I understand it. I understand how your mind can go there. But so moving forward, I know in my life I've had these challenging situations, and and where I've had to refocus my thought process and ensuring that I'm being realistic, that I am but I'm still focusing on positivity, because that is the only way to cultivate a resilient mindset in focusing on accurate information. Because you got to know when your mind is going negative, if that's uh, if that's reality. So we got to get better at navigating these difficult situations, find strength and clarity, and ultimately shaping our experiences and outcomes in a light that's more. It's just overall just being more positive, and yet while being realistic. I know that could be a difficult balance there. Um, but this power of manifestation, it's where I want to kind of stop right there. This power of manifestation, it's the belief that our thoughts and emotions have the power to shape our reality. And it's a really deep statement when you think about it. When we consistently focus on the negative thoughts, the negative thing, always something bad is going to happen to me. The doubts, the fears, we inadvertently attract negative events into our lives. We attract it by that's what we put out. It's like it's a vibration that we put out. It's the energy that we put out there. It's a, I guess maybe thought about it as deep as a phenomenon that it really suggests that our mindset can create a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing these negative patterns and outcomes. As a man thinks, so shall he be. And I think about, what does that even mean? As a man thinks, so shall he be. It's almost I mean, biblical. As you sow, so shall you reap. It really emphasizes the principle of cause and effect. And you think about, how does that apply here with manifestation? It's reaping what you sown, and understanding the things that you have sowed. Whatever you sown, what are you putting out there? It highlights the notion that our actions and thoughts have consequences that really uh, impacts has an impact on our lives, that adds a certain vibration to our lives. That vibration of negativity comes back in our lives. And the context of negative thinking, dwelling in pessimism and negativity can really sow seeds of discontent and attract corresponding negative outcomes. And I know that can be kind of sound maybe a little convoluted, and I'm going to try to make it a little more clear what I'm trying to say. Um, Going back to as a man thinks, so shall he be. Uh, it really underscores the powerful connection between our thoughts and and our reality. That's what it is. The phrase reminds us that our thoughts shapes our perception, shapes our perception of ourselves and the world around us. If we constantly and consistently engage in just negative thinking, we may unintentionally can create a self image that really reinforces negativity, which then causes the limiting of our potential for growth and success through a challenging situation. So no, that's kind of saying the same thing over and over again. So let's jump right into uh, how to avoid the trap of negative thinking and how you can get through it. And negative thinking can be debilitating. I mean, it can really stop you, cause you not to act, and it can impact your 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 personal growth and happiness. So we got to have some strategies that prepare us for hard things. And so and that's going to help take us out of that trap of negative thinking. So the first one I can thinking about as I'm thinking through this is the mindfulness and self-awareness. You got to cultivate awareness of your thoughts and emotions. You got to recognize your propensity towards negativity. Recognize negative patterns and consciously redirect your thinking towards more positive and constructive perspectives. Just reshaping uh, your negative thoughts. And then a powerful one, a really, really powerful one is gratitude. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a gratitude practice to shift your focus towards the positive aspects of your life. And even in that hard thing, you got to regularly acknowledge and appreciate the good that is in your life. And it really can help counteract the negative thinking if you're in a place of gratitude. Being just being grateful for what you have. And then something that can be kind of hokey, and that's positive affirmations. Just by incorporating some positive affirmations into your daily routine, telling yourself good things, your mind has to hear it by you repeating some empowering statements that counter negative self-talk and reinforce a positive mindset. It's powerful because you're listening to yourself. Your mind is always on. Your mind is always listening to yourself. And then something that's also critical is surrounding yourself with positivity. I'm not talking about, again, toxic positivity. I'm talking about surrounding yourself with people and things that are just positive in nature. Engage in activities that bring you joy and consume uplifting media. Look at things. It's like it makes you watch feel good movies, feel good videos, and all that kind of stuff. Just surrounding yourself in a positive environment. So, because if you create an environment that's conducive to positive thinking and positivity, it can really help break the cycle of negativity because they can't exist in the same place. So while the placebo effect, it really demonstrates the impact of positive thinking, we got to know that the nocebo effect also creates an environment of manifesting negativity in our lives. Manifestation is powerful, and what you put out into the atmosphere, the energy you put out there into the atmosphere, it comes back to you. You reap what you sow. When I'm sowing negativity, and I then will reap that. If I'm sowing positivity, I will reap that. And it really can in your thinking can influence and attract whatever it is that you put out there. So we got to adopt some of those strategies, some of those mindfulness techniques, the gratitude, practicing gratitude, and the positive affirmations, and surrounding ourselves with positivity and positive things. Then we can really cultivate this environment of creating a space for you to be positive in life. And that's where we need to be focused on. Living a life full of joy and fulfillment. We know that hard things are going to happen. But remember, our thoughts have power. And by harnessing that power, you can really exploit that power of our mind. And we can create a reality that really aligns with our desires and aspirations. And when you're going through a hard thing, obviously you may not be able to blink and make something go away, but you have the ability to get through it, to make it through hard things. You can do hard things. I know you don't want to do a hard thing. I know you don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I know that. But the hard things happen in life. And have you ever met a person who is just what do they call her? Negative Nancy. What do they call her? The person who's just always negative, the Eeyore, the Debbie Downer. The person's always going through something. Something's always happening to them. It's always me, always. But then someone else who's always in a positive light, seems like great things always happen to them. But just think about their personalities. Think about how they see the world around them, the energy that they're putting out. Are they putting out positive things? I think about like some of the YouTubers like Kevin Samuels, or what's the other one? Tasha K. Even media, Wendy Williams. I think about them very specifically because what they put out, despite whatever the content that they put out, I mean, Wendy Williams was, I think all of her content was negative. But I think what they put out is such negativity that I think that it came back on them. I think about Kevin Samuels, where I can get down with a lot of his message, but the way that he would get it out, I think caused the negativity to come back on him. I think with Tasha K, who's still here, but she was sued by uh, Cardi B and lost the case, and now she doesn't have any money and all this stuff, and she's having a hard time paying it and all this stuff. I think it's just because that's what you're spewing out. You're spewing that negativity out. So all of that's coming back on you. That's what you, and Wendy Williams, I mean, everything, I just thought the majority of what she did, there wasn't positivity with her message. It was always being shady. It was always talking bad or down about someone's drama and all of that kind of stuff. And you notice that the people who put a lot of that drama, put all that stuff out into the air, into the atmosphere, I feel like it just seems like all that stuff comes back to them. They find their they get that back to them. And sometimes, and I never cheer for that. I never cheer for someone's downfall, but I always say you have to be responsible for what you put out into the air, into the atmosphere. So I'm all about love, positivity. Sound like a hippie, but but I'm all about love and positivity and everyone being their authentic selves, unapologetically, without judgment, and moving towards a place of tolerance. That's always about acceptance, but tolerance. Everyone should be allowed to be who they are, as long as it's obviously legal and all that stuff. Uh, but you should be able to be who you are. Do what you do. Be who you are. Understanding that that means that certain things may come back to you in a certain way, but we got to get into a place where we are manifesting the things that are the positive things are manifesting in our lives by our thought process, the positivity that we put out there. In every single interaction that we have, everything should be always positive. The Bible says that we should reject even the appearance of evil. Even if anything that we do or it looks like it's evil, we should cast it out. We don't even want the appearance of something looking like we're doing evil. And that, what does that mean? That means that we we have to put we have to be on point all the time when it comes to this positive thinking thing, and be very quick when we go to a negative space. Because if you have a test, a scan, or whatever, and your first thought process is all the negative things, and I understand the anxiety and all this stuff, that's a real thing. I'm not discrediting anyone on that. It's a real thing. It's a real thought process, and it's scary. However, you got to get to a quick place of saying, as much as a negative thing could happen from this scan, so much can it be a positive thing. You can go and get this scan and nothing's found. There's no issues, no problems, nothing's been found. Everything's clear. The doctor's like, all right, get out of here. And the power of manifestation is not that because you're scared of the cancer diagnosis. It's that not because you're scared of the cancer diagnosis or them finding something that is going to then create cancer in your body. What happens is your body starts to shut down based off of the negative thinking. And that's when other things happen, like you start to stress. You can link certain things to stress, certain diseases to stress. High blood pressure can be linked to stress. A lot of times you can have high blood pressure during a certain time frame because you're going through a stressful event. And they can put you on high blood pressure medication, but then when that event is over with and your blood pressure normalizes, and then now your blood pressure is going too low, and you're like, wait a minute, why is my blood pressure going so low? Because it was your mindset, your mental health. And that's where we got to focus on. That's where we got to be. So hopefully that all made sense. Um, and that helped you on your along your path, along your journey. And I enjoy having these conversations. And I would love for you to comment down below. What are some of the things that you do when you go through a hard time? What helps you, keeps you from going negative? Because we could all use some help. Because we all go there, we all have these experiences in life that can cause us to go negative, and there's nothing too small. So just please comment down below. Maybe it'll help someone else. Maybe it'll help me, and I really appreciate it as y'all join me on my journey as I strive to live organically and authentically in every way. I have over 18 years, or I'm at 18 years of being on this journey of this organic lifestyle, this authentic lifestyle, and just transcending to the next level. And it's my goal and my duty always to help others do the same. Get to that next level, being who you are, enjoying who you are as a person, as a human being. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because I'll be posting the next one. Appreciate you. And I hope you're living your best life. And hopefully your best life is a life that's lived